Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Legion 99 podcast, your source for the latest tactics, news, battle reports, hobby talk, and general Legion chatter. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Legion 99. I'm Nick. I'm here with my co-host, Mike Cirillo, and our good buddy, Josh. We're fresh back from Worlds. Yes, everybody, I'm back. Excited, re-energized, reinvigorated.
The salt is left by the table side.
Oh, yeah. There's no salt. Legion, baby. We're back. We're excited. Like I said, it's like Tuesday night. We have been back from Worlds for like about 2 days now. A little less for me. I got back real late Sunday night.
A lot less for me. I got back at like 10 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah, you were like still in the hall working when I like was in bed.
Yeah.
I finally like just got home, went to bed. It was a lot of tables, a lot of stuff to get packed up. We're gonna talk about that. So I'm back.
Permanently.
Permanently, forever. I'm back. I'm excited. But as always, we are a part of the Fifth Trooper Network. So what does that mean? We have a Patreon. We would love it if you subscribe to the Patreon, right, Mike? Tell them about it.
Yes. So we do have Patreon. It has a number of different tiers with some cool rewards like quarterly prizes, invites to the Discord where every now and then I do post. But you can chat with us, ask questions, etc. And yeah, we would really appreciate the support. Helps us keep all the hosting fees in line. Because God knows there's a lot of us now. There's probably too many. We don't need a Shatterpoint cast. It's a dead game.
Oh, not according to that.
Not according to that panel I sat through. That was a lot of fun.
No. All right, I'm hyped for Legion.
Of that.
So it was I wanted to go watch it, but unfortunately, like the skirmish, I was TOing the skirmish tournament on Sunday, and we had like 30. We started with 31, 32 players, so that's pretty good.
Damn.
And I was hoping that it would be the round 2 would be done so that I could go up there and check it out, but it was not. So I sat there and I was watching it on my phone, and I watched like the Shatterpoint part, like before I got up to get lunch, and I let out an audible scream when I saw the bounty hunter pack. I let out like an audible cheer. It was loud.
You pulled your own version of the Bosk pose.
It was great.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so before we get into Adepticon, we've got some upcoming events that we're gonna like discuss a little bit. Josh, if you have any as well, of course you can plug them, because that's what we do here. First off, April 27th in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Keystone Classic 2. It's back.
Something dark side.
Something dark side. Our good buddies up in the Keystone area are putting on another show at the it's the same hotel as last time, right?
It is. It's the same Marriott. I think it's one of the DoubleTrees.
Yep.
Or Hilton is a DoubleTree.
I think Mike and I were both there last year. So was Jay, so was Evan, and so was Tim Hannon, along with we dragged a bunch of our locals with us. Hopefully we get a good turnout for that again. I'm planning to go as of like right now. I'm going.
I'm signed up and it's on my calendar.
Yes.
I got to bring the experimental droids to the Northeast.
Are you going to do snail experimental droids?
You know what? I may as well, because I do have a sick...
You have a snail?
Yeah, you painted me a sweet snail.
Okay.
It has never seen the table, so maybe that's the time.
Yeah, there you go. I have no idea what I'm going to be playing. Probably Geonosians, because like none of this new stuff's out. Range Troopers look really interesting. And I just painted up some Inquisitors, so maybe I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to play Inquisitors because you just painted them for me.
Yeah, I'm forced. I just finished them today. But after that, the week after, May 4th is a Saturday this year. Star Wars Day is a Saturday, and Top Deck is celebrating in style. We are hosting a Legion tournament, a 100-point Legion tournament. Currently, it's going to be capped at 16. I'm hoping to have a game uplink up like this week. I'm going to go tell them that I'm going to do that on Thursday, and they'll just probably be like, okay, you can do that. They're also going to be doing an unlimited event. I'm not really, I don't speak card game. So like, I know, like, I think I know what draft means and stuff like that, but like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I know they're planning something for unlimited. They're also probably going to try and kick off organized play at the store for Shatterpoint as well, with like some kind of open play, but they're probably going to have I know they have some of the initiation kits with the foil cards, and they've got some other. They're going to line up some other prizes. But speaking of the Legion tournament, I'm actually going to. They were nice enough. The AMG peeps was nice enough to give the judges a swag bag of some of the prize wall stuff. So we got a ton of dice. So I'm probably going to throw some of my dice in as prize support for the Legion event. So
Man, now I have to sweat for it.
you have dice. You
I
to
need
win
more
some.
dice.
You didn't play a lot of Legion, did you?
I mean, I did. I just tied a lot.
You just tied a lot.
What, 3 times in 5 games?
But yeah, put that on your calendar, May 4th. I'm sure we're not the only place playing Legion on May 4th, right, Mike?
Yeah, because we also have the Richmond Open. That's going to be down in Richmond, Virginia. It's a repeat of last year.
I never would have guessed it would have been in Richmond, Virginia.
You know, there's probably more than one Richmond. But we are going to have the TO on for a segment next episode. So last year we did a little bit of hype over it. So we're going to try to do that again, get back to our roots a little bit there. And we'll have some more details for you then. Though I actually think I'm not going to be at the Top Deck event because I'm going to an Unlimited event up in Connecticut on the 4th.
I see.
I know.
I also have something on the 4th.
Good.
We've got at the Game Castle Fremont in California, the 4th and 5th will be filled with different Star Wars games and different paid events and different free events too.
Dope.
And that's all the information.
Oh, sounds good. Game Castle is LA based, right?
No, it's the Bay Area. So
Bay
we're
Area,
in Fremont,
okay.
California. So we're near San
Keegan
Francisco.
used to go there sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Keegan, when I can pull Keegan to actually do something, he plays.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
I don't. He probably doesn't listen anymore.
God, no, he absolutely doesn't listen.
Yeah,
we'll find out if we get a DM from this.
Thanks for the hotel for Adepticon, Keegan. Using his reservation.
Speaking of Adepticon, should we shift into it?
Probably.
Yeah, so luckily we have all 3 perspectives from Adepticon: TO, judge, and player. What other cast can say that?
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many. Did you actually play, or did you just play Drawgate?
I did play the games. It was just only Mike 2 out of the 5.
I think Mike played 5 games of Legion at Adepticon, right?
This is true.
And he drew 3 of them.
This is unfortunately true. And all 3 draws were 3 totally different scenarios. I ran the gauntlet of not winning. I only lost 1 game the entire tournament.
So you went 1-1-3?
If you count the Swiss, yes.
Yeah,
the actual day I went 1-1-2.
He hopped in because I was judging Swiss, and like we were just letting people hop in. It didn't record didn't really matter. So like I told him, I was messaging him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on my way to the con." I'm like, "Hey, you could hop into round 2 because we're gonna be starting round 2 in like 30 minutes." And
so I brought my minis.
Maybe I'll do that. So he did that, and then he promptly was like, "Yeah, I drew, and I think I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go get some rest." I was like, "All right, bud." and then Pat came in and played round 3 and did the exact same thing and just dropped. He's like, "All right."
Wait, Pat tied too?
No, he didn't draw. I don't know if he won.
Oh no, Pat got tabled.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Pat got tabled.
We had like 100 people at that event. It was like I think like round 2 or round 3 we had like 120 players. We were close to 128.
It was like 130 unique players who played in it.
It would like we started with like around like 90 or something like that, I think, round 1, and then like people jumped in round 2 and 3 it like kind of peaked. It was like it was a lot of people.
That was actually one of the coolest events I've played, just because that was the thing. You know, a lot of us were still arriving from our flights and such because you know, we couldn't exactly burn vacation days to come out Wednesday as well. So it was really neat to just show up late and be allowed to play with no consequences. You know, just paid your fee and entered. So thank you very much. That was super fun.
And you still got tickets for it, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So
272 players for Worlds.
Correct? 272 players.
So that we Josh, do you want to? You were the TO, so why don't you start here?
Oh, I think we wanted to. I think we wanted to start with you.
No. We're starting with you, Nick.
I have to start. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was lucky enough to be selected to judge Worlds when I decided to take my break from playing Legion. I was like, well, my terrain's going anyway, and I'm getting taken care of for that, so I might as well just see if they need a judge. So I judged along with many others. A lot of people. Seth from finally got to meet Seth from the rules forums. It was nice to put a face to the name. Our good buddy Hob was on the judge team with me. Cammy and Austin from down in near Florida ish. Are they out Mississippi? Where are they?
They're in the south somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
They're in a
somewhere way down
swamp.
there.
It's
In
all
the
one.
swamp.
It's all one state.
Yeah,
Let's
alligator
be
land.
real.
Alligator land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Graham, who's local to Chicago area. Brendan from the Inglorious Blasters, our buddy, comes up to a lot of my events. Who else am I missing here? I'm missing somebody.
Michael.
Michael
from LA area.
Yep, he helped us a lot. And of course, you, who was head judge / TO.
Yeah.
Sort of TO, mostly TO.
TO.
Yeah, Pagani was actually the TO. He did a great job. He was very helpful day of. We didn't really I didn't have I mean, I didn't need to have a ton of communication before because I was just like, the judge peon. It was great. Point me somewhere and I'll judge people. That's what I do. I love judging everybody. Even if they're not playing Legion, I tend to judge them. So this was perfect for me.
This is factual.
So overall, I had a great time. Long days. I got in Wednesday and I got in Wednesday around like 11. Jay was there. He had just started table setup. We went and got some food, and then like we just were like, all right, time to get these tables up. So Jay was the lead on the tables. He did a great job getting all the tables up. I assume they all came down eventually before I left. Or after I left. Jay did a great job. So shout out to him, not just because he's my boss. But the Germans helped us. A lot of people hopped in and helped us set up tables. So we were pretty much done table setup that first day. What we were setting up that day around like 5 o'clock. So that wasn't too bad. Jump into Thursday. We had Swiss and LCQ. I was tasked with TOing the Swiss event. I had Hob helping me judge all day, along with Austin. Ran smoothly. LCQ seemed to also run pretty smoothly. We did 4 rounds. People were hopping in and out of the Swiss event based on when they got there, or if they were like, all right, well, I'm tired now. I'm going to get some sleep because tomorrow's the main event. So it went well. Fast forward to day 2. The big task, 272 Legion players all in one event. It was pretty epic. Seeing we had to put up more tables Thursday night when we had some more room made. It was a lot of tables, a lot of people, a lot of tables, a lot of confusion, but I think we handled it well. No real, not a lot of like player issues on my end. Not a lot of super complicated judge calls. We had like a really solid judge team. The dudes handling the stream everybody seemed to be having a great time. The stream was run by, it was Yavin Base and That's No Moon, sort of like a collaboration. David couldn't be there, so Zane and Bushman were mostly running the stream with Cockles from That's No Moon. Finally got to meet him in person. Jolly fellow. I have a cool hat too. They sent me back with a hat, so people were very confused. I was wearing a That's No Moon hat all day on Thursday. They were like, "What?"
It was rather confusing.
Yeah, I know. It's a nice hat.
Cockles. He stole my hat.
He stole it?
He stole it. He stole my hat, so I don't have a hat anymore.
Oh, I know he listens, so we'll have to.
I'm gonna guilt trip him into shipping me one.
How are you gonna steal a hat that you gave him, bro? What is that about? What is that
Typical
about,
British.
Actually, it was Andrew's hat that I stole from Andrew.
There. Okay.
I didn't.
I
need
was
those
given
details.
a hat. Someone stole my hat. I stole Andrew's hat. Cockle stole my hat.
Yeah. So Thursday, I don't have any. I had a great time judging. It was. I know the rules pretty well. There are always some things that throw me. I'm old. I'm like, my birthday was on Thursday, so I got older. But yeah, long days. Not a lot of sleep. So like getting done Thursday and Friday at like 10:30 by the time we were done. and then having to turn back around and get back up at like 6:30 to be back in the hall for like 7:30 before stuff restarted was a lot. But overall, yeah, it was a great time. By Sunday, I was just like, hey guys, this is skirmish. Just have fun. I'll give you your prize tickets. I think I had like 3 judge calls the entire time. 2 of them were like, how do we do this? Because I've never played skirmish before, like setup things. You know, not I didn't think to bring any skirmish battle decks with me, even though I knew ahead of time I was TOing skirmish. So thankfully Cammy had one that I got to borrow, and like there were enough amongst the players that we made it through. Most people have one at this point because it comes in the essentials kit. So, but yeah, I mean,
That explains why I have a kit.
it was great. It was awesome meeting a lot of people that I hadn't yet really interacted with in real life. Like I said, Seth, Josh, you. It was a pleasure. You did a great job. That's how I felt. Everybody, the whole judge team, Cammy, Austin, Michael, Brendan, Hob, obviously, everybody did an excellent job. I felt like we did the best we could with the size of the event and the fact that, like, you know, it's pretty common knowledge that like there was a bit of turnover, you know, about a month out, and that led to a lot of confusion. And I'm not going to get into that anymore because I have strong feelings about it. But Pagani and Andrea did a great job. Pagani it was awesome getting to like work with him so closely. They did a great job. I felt like everybody had a good time. Prize wall was cool. I think we're going to talk more about that later, but judge perspective, I had a great time. I had a lot of fun. Can't wait for next year.
Man, how are you going to follow that up, Josh?
Oh God.
I offered.
You offered. I'll give you that. I'd like to echo a couple things that you said. It was a pleasure working with all the judges and meeting them all pretty much for the first time. It was incredibly funny to watch Seth and Hob literally running down the walkways to beat each other to a judge call, each with smiles on their face. It was
Brendan
hilarious.
Too. To be fair,
Brendan was also going
and
for
Brendan had a notepad. He was like writing down. He was like doing a check mark, like, or a hash mark, like every call he made and the different types of calls. I'm like,
it was.
Yeah, it was
a pleasure working with all of them. It was great to have Michael in because, you know, none of us really knew Spec Ops, and Austin did a fantastic job with a lot of the administrative work over at the tournament HQ. And then Cammy was fantastic being on the stream table for most of it. And Graham was also fantastic. So I'm really proud of everyone. You're good too, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means the world to me. It does, though, actually. I had a great time. I said it right.
Yeah, and over the 3 to 4 nights that we had to get up early, I had about 10 to 12 hours of sleep total. I did the mistake of, oh, they're all doing after hours events? Let's do every after hours event. Let's do karaoke and leave there at 2:30.
The hardest thing about these events is picking which like groups to go to, because you can always do something, but you're either going to be out until 1 o'clock or until 4 o'clock and nothing in between.
Oh, I just hung out with the Brits. It was easier.
We ended a little early Saturday night, and like I was like, I need to go find food, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna Friday night. We ended, it was late, and I'm just like, I need to find some food, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed. And I did. I just like went up to my room and went to sleep. That was it.
So the two perspective of things, I mean, we had the big change up and everything like a month and a week before. So it was a lot of figuring out people's names, and a lot of my perspective of the event was it ran the smoothest parts of it for me were when we were actually there. A lot of the stuff beforehand was figuring out whose people's names were when they were signing up and then signing up for the game up playing. Because like I love some of the names like Jojo Binks. That's a great name. Who are you?
Yeah, that's always been a complaint I've had.
So, and when you have so many people. But otherwise, I think it went good. I'm really happy with how things turned out. I'm happy with, like, especially the top 4 being up of 4 different countries, especially for an event that's called World. It's nice. It's not just Americans with a couple English people thrown in. This time we had French Canadian, we had an American, we had an Englishman, and then we had a Polish man. So
Polish
weird.
man.
Polish man. Yeah. Oscar was great. There, I had a fantastic time with all the top 4. So it was good to see them come out. Overall, I think the event ran pretty well. Big fan of the prize wall. Big fan of what that means and like how that will work with like being united for all of the different games. You can go to an event and you can go, cool. Well, one day I'll play something Legion, then tomorrow I'll play something MCP, and then I'll do something X-Wing the third day. And your tickets work for whichever game you want. It doesn't really matter that, oh, I want tickets in X-Wing, I have to spend on X-Wing prices. No, played 4 games of X-Wing, won them all. I get 24 tickets. I'm going to go spend 20 tickets on Legion dice instead because I'd rather have those. I want more white defense dice because we all need more white defense dice. But so I think the event ran pretty well. It was fantastic working with Andre and Pagani again. They just were super helpful. Me and Andrea were talking tons over Discord. It like the weirdest times at night going, all right, we need to change this, and this. We got to get this updated. But yeah, do like the format. Maybe it could change, but like having the first day with the LCQ being the proper full 4 rounds was nice. And then having a Swiss for people to come in late, I think that was an excellent idea. For the main event, having the 4 rounds day 1 and a top 32 cut, maybe we could shift around, do like maybe 4 and then 3, and then do just a top cut so that everyone gets 7 games. But with the amount of side events, I think people there was enough things for other people to do. And we had the Unnatural Warfare, which is just play the 4 extra casual games a day to get another 24 tickets a day. So there was plenty of ways to make tickets. We were just handing them out like candy pretty much. It was fantastic. But I had a great time just chatting with people of the community. I had the greatest fun just introducing myself as, oh, hi, I'm Josh, and having them talk and then slowly realize, or pretty much Nick always going, you know who he is, right? And I'm going, no, who is it? It's like, that's your head Josh. It's hilarious to see people. I'm the boss and no one knows who I am. It's great. I love it.
They do.
But yeah, no, I think
272 people know who you are now.
Yes. Well, maybe not. They might just think I'm some yokel who was yelling at the top of his lungs because I refused to use the microphone.
To be fair, the microphone did not sound very clear. It was probably better when you were yelling.
We figured out way later that like, yeah, if you held it a certain way, it worked way better. Like,
I mean, it's almost like the cardioid pattern of a microphone is how that works. But also you should be yelling into that microphone. So
yeah, it was a large area that like was loud. It was loud.
And as much as it's really cool to have the convention hall be like all the AMG games, and then right next to them is the like all the markets and such.
Yeah,
it makes it so you can't hear anything in that room. So yeah, and just based on the size of our event, the amount of tables that were set up, we had 140 tables set up for the 272 players. So the microphone's like, cool, well, you can hit like the closest 32 tables to you. But otherwise, you're just going to have to start yelling and start sending people to go run and talk to people. But yeah,
what we ended up doing.
Yeah, it just made it easier. That's pretty much my thoughts on the event. Yeah, now for the player perspective.
All right. Honestly, from a player perspective, a lot of the issues that I think a good bit of the community complained about before the event happens were smoothed out rather nicely. It was super awesome, like I mentioned earlier, to be able to join the Swiss late. That was like my favorite feature of the day, I guess I'll say. Like, it was really cool to just walk in, see 100 people playing Legion, and then be able to hop in and just join in. And like, that was awesome. Expanding that from the 32 players is, I think, the best move that anybody made all weekend. But for the most part, everything went really well. The only real negative experience of the whole event for me was trying to find my table. Like you said, there's 140 tables set up. It took a couple tries to figure out where the rows started. But otherwise everything was super smooth. When Jay actually decides to let Game Uplink work, we were able to find our pairings pretty quickly, and then get to the tables. But from a logistical perspective, it was really easy to play, and you guys did a fantastic job. Only being like 25 minutes behind with 270 players is crazy good. So zero complaints from that perspective. In terms of actually playing, I could do a quick bat rep. I don't really have a lot to talk about considering I drew 3 times. We'll see. But I did hop in for one game on the Swiss, and I got to play. I guess I should start. I played my Anakin Padme Pikes list. That kind of made the rounds for a while. It's exactly what you think it is: the 5-6 man core, vigilance, lots of dodges, and 800 points, which will come up. And in the one Swiss game that I played against an Anakin Padme all clone dodge castle. And we played intercept because we wanted to not tie. And we ended up drawing on intercept when I scored the middle on 2 and 4. He scored on 6, and we couldn't kill anything, despite the fact that we were range 1 from each other on turn 6, and both of our Anakins were in each other's lines. Nothing died. Dodge spam might be a problem. I don't know. But it was a really fun game with my opponent. Unfortunately, I'm going to refer to all of my opponents except for one as my opponent because I cannot load Game Uplink and I do not remember their names because I met 700 different people over the weekend. So I can tell you where they were from, but I cannot tell you their name. So this gentleman was from the Midwest. I had a great time with him. It was an excellent game. And unfortunately, it ended in a tie when we both scored, 6 points on intercept or 7 points on intercept and couldn't kill anything. So then I ended up just dropping for that to basically go back to the hotel and check in because I was not able to do that until 4 o'clock. And I wanted to make sure that I could actually sleep that night. But for the main event, I had a great time. So I went 1-1-2 overall. And I actually only played 3 of the games, as I'll get to. So the first game, I got matched up against a CIS player. He was playing triple Magna with SA and RPS, 2 B2 hats, 3 E5S, and then Kalani. So not experimental droids, but does a lot of the similar concepts in terms of the dice value and the defensive tech. And we ended up playing on a kind of like a Scarif style table. And I was able to squeak that one out on intercept. One thing that I learned from that game is Magnas are still really, really hard to kill when you buff them with Kalani aggressive tactics and their command cards. And dodges are still really strong, and even with Pike and DC 15 dice pools, hard to get through. So I ended up taking that one on kill points at the end when I was just able to essentially chew down the Magna on turn 6. Anakin had a pretty lucky save on turn 6 to kind of stay alive and make it a lot further apart than the game actually appeared. But I had a wonderful time with my opponent. He was a lovely gentleman from Ohio. I do apologize, forgot your name. Round 2, I ended up playing Facundo, who flew all the way from Argentina to play. And he was playing the Kentucky Dan list, which is 5 pikes with prepared supplies and the Cash Dodge, one of the Black Sun Enforcers, Bosk, and 3 Capos. We tied this game. So both of us are at 800 points. He was up 10 activations to 8. So when the battle cards flipped over, it was hostage, key positions, VAPs, and then intercept. So I had to cut hostage exchange because I cannot play against that list on hostage. They're going to close the gap too quickly, have too many dodges. His Black Sun had the range 2 Pierce gun, so even if he's moving and shooting, I'm still going to get obliterated. So I flipped to KP. I knew that would put me at a pretty significant disadvantage because he was up 2 activations and had all the pike dodges, but I was hoping that we would have a game. I thought it would force at least something at the end. We would be able to compete for it. And unfortunately, in my opinion, Facundo flipped to VAPs. And we were on advanced positions and fortified. And the middle of the table was pretty open. There was ways to get heavy cover, but there was no true line of sight blocking. And I realized that I couldn't walk into him. So I deployed or divulged Padme for secret mission. He very smartly bountied Padme with Bosk, and on advanced positions put 8 of his units in the front corner and 2 in the far corner so I couldn't infiltrate. And unfortunately, I sat back the entire time And on round 3, both of us realized what was going to happen, and we passed the rest of our activations. Both of us knew that at 1-0-1, we still had a chance to win out and make day 2, so we thought it was in our best benefit. It's an unfortunate, I guess, caveat in the rules at the moment, but hopefully that gets fixed in the future. Went into round 3. I ended up playing. Let's see. I played a gentleman from Switzerland who was playing Obi-Wan, Cody, and a couple ATRTs, and we ended up playing KP on a desert table. Unfortunately for myself, he won the roll-off to be able to choose red player and was able to take the significantly better side of the table. And he was on the center KP turn 1. Because the center KP was a pretty large piece of area style terrain, and it was a speed 2 move from his start. And I ate 5 straight turns of double fire supports from Cody and the laser ATRT, backed up by full Z6 medic squads and an RPS. So by the third roll of 9 Pierce 1 from Cody, on turn 5, my army evaporated, and Anakin couldn't make a hero save to get myself onto the point. Ended up dropping that one, I think 2-0 in the end. He just charged Obi-Wan towards my home point and force pushed him off. So unfortunately, at that point, I fell to 1-1-1, was eliminated from contention. And for round 4, I was paired with my local Chris, who we prepped 12 games for Worlds with. So we basically spent the entire 3-month setup to Worlds prepping different lists against each other. And we decided to just drink beers and play unlimited instead. So we intentionally drew instead of playing yet again when both of us were out. So we split the tickets and did that.
That's a tough. That's like tough getting like that the last round of a long day. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't
when you're
mind.
out.
It is what it is. You know, it's an irrelevant game in all essence, but I wouldn't mind playing some of my other locals who I only played like once or twice in the build up. But both Chris and I kind of looked at each other like, "Do you really want to do this?" And both of us said no. So that was the end of my event there. So 1, 1, and 2, I did not place as well as I wanted to. I think I made some good decisions across the tables, or I'm sorry, across the games, but I think there was a few, just unlucky rolls where I couldn't get the hits through that I needed, or unfortunately, my plan to get KP didn't work. So I'm pretty happy with how I played. There's obviously things I could have done better, but it's the first time in a couple years, as I was saying to Nick, I've come back from a major event more excited about the game than when I went. So this is a pretty awesome change of pace, and I'm actually going to get back at it on Saturday, and we're going to try to crack the CXD list. So looking forward to keep playing. As we move into what actually did well at the event, I want to shout out a huge congratulations to Ollie, CB3T from That's No Moon, who was our brand new world champion. He was able to finally take down Luke in the finals, no less, and prove that it's not just a one-person show in Legion. So as much as I was pulling for Luke the entire time and wanted to see him three-peat, congratulations, Ollie. It's a fully well-deserved win for him. He just decimated his opponents the whole way through the event.
He did really, really well. He's going to be really annoying about this all year long, though.
He is going to be absolutely fucking insufferable about it, but he deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's zero question.
Fine.
Like,
You're allowed to brag. Like,
absolutely, he's the world champ and
fine.
decimated
Like, totally
everybody on the way. Like, bravo.
Totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I messaged him today actually, congratulating him. So I ran out of there pretty quick on Sunday. Well, I had to pack up the tables and then I had to go catch an Uber, get to the airport. But yep, it was Sunday was a long day. So EXD good?
Yeah.
EXD good.
EXD good. EXD needs a nerf. That's all I'm gonna say. So things that did well at the event, I guess, is what I have in the show notes. So as you might be able to tell, experimental droids did very, very well. They finished 5 of the top 7. Or I'm sorry, they were 5 of the top 7 going into the final round. And there were, if I remember correctly, 14 of the top 32. So
I don't think all of them were EXD in the top 14. There were a couple other separatist lists, but there were a lot of VXD.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong list. And as you as anybody who was following probably noticed, clones did not do very well at the event, despite being the baddie for the entire season. And I think you can make a very valid argument that's because EXD knocked out almost all of the clone players.
Yeah, it makes me very
top
happy that
clone
they were
player,
not good.
top clone player, South Jersey local, Adam Foles.
Playing the Wookiee
Shout
Battle
out.
Force.
Yeah. Top clone player at Worlds.
Yeah, clones are bad. Who knew?
Hashtag not Yoda. Not Anakin.
Triple flutter with bombers.
Triple flutter with bombers. Let's go.
I'm hoping that we can chat with Adam, or I hope he talks about it somewhere, because he ran a really unique list concept that was a little bit different from a lot of the other Wookiee battle forces.
Yeah, most
and
of the other Wookiee battle forces are either like, hey, I'm just gonna charge you with maximum Wookiees and or Yoda. This one's like 10 acts and it's got fluttercrafts. So
and it's not even the Pierce gunners, it's the bombers. So he took a lot of unit that people said was absolute dog shit and nearly ran his way to the top 4.
Well, I think with what we saw with Ollie as well, is overrun is a much better keyword than we think it
especially
is.
when you have all these units that can gum things up and like just like
Yeah.
so you can just like run things over like full stop. Like what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, the movement tool update significantly buffed that keyword.
Yeah, especially with the swoops, and we saw Ollie do it once. Is he was going to go over a unit of BX, so he overrun, shot them, then overrun them with the compulsive move, and so it was a lot of damage into the BX in one activation. If Luke had failed 2 more saves, he would have wiped a full unit of BX in one act. So you can do a lot with that new change.
And crucially, it dumps multiple suppression on them.
Yeah.
And even with droids who don't lose actions, EXD still panics at 4 because it has Kalani, which is Courage 2. There is no Courage 3 in that army, so dumping 4 or 5 suppression on a unit is still very, very relevant. We also saw buses do well again. For the second consecutive Worlds, we had a Black Sun bus list in the final. Little different application, with this one being Black Sun swoops and double bus with the jammer versus a Maul bus, but might have been a little unexpected. And we had we had 2 other buses with the with Brian Bear running a Luke R2 version that made top 32. So we had a couple.
Wild.
Did you watch any of his games?
I didn't really, not really, but I did chat with him for a second about it. I was like, look at this madman here.
They're like 14 wound buses by the time the repair bots are done, and they're just
he's
running
got 5
down your
repair
throat.
droids. And they're fleets. He's all fleets. It's like they're all like hiding behind the bus, chasing the bus. If you turn around, you get her behind the bus. Like they're just gonna chuck like 8 white dice at you. It's like, oh god, yeah.
And then there's no way to stop secret mission when you have 14 health in a bus. R2 is going to score, but it was pretty neat to see the variety of lists that we got across everything, EXD notwithstanding.
I mean, even the EXD were all slightly different. There
Yeah,
wasn't
some had
like one definitive list. There were some with snails. None of them made top 4 with snails, but there were like some that had like, let's put snipers on the B1s, or let's just completely focus on the BXs. Yeah, it was actually kind of neat to see that there isn't like one definitive,
like
oh,
Force, right?
this is the EXD list, or this is the Blizzard list, or this is, you're playing Yoda, well, here's the list you're playing. It was nice to see a whole bunch of variety.
Yeah, Corey from Inglorious Bastards, one of our semi-locals, played the double droidica version. What'd I say?
You said, I think you said bastards.
I probably did. I was thinking of the movie.
They are bastards.
Sorry, Corey. But like he ran the double droidica list version, which is instead of the B2s, which is still good. Luke had the RPS instead of the heavies on the B1s, like you were talking about. Like there's a lot of variety to it. It was cool. Yeah. Was there anything that we saw, or I should say, the one thing that we didn't see a lot of was traditional Wookiee battle force? I was kind of surprised. We didn't see a lot of the 8 Wookiees, all fur, no vehicles or no Yoda. I know Raul, who made top 32, was running a version of that out of, again, North Virginia. So shout out East Coast.
East Coast, baby.
But there wasn't a whole lot of Wookiee Battle Force. I was kind of surprised.
I think a lot of them got shot off the board in the earlier rounds because there were a couple, but I think they just got, unfortunately, they got paired up with a player who knows exactly how to counter it. And it's just, you pick a target, you kill that. You pick next target, you kill that one. So you're not getting, like, if you're spreading out all of your shots, like, oh, cool, I killed 4 Wookiees this turn. Not a single unit of Wookiees. I killed 4 Wookiees, and now that's 4 speed ones towards me, in addition to them just double moving or move shoot. So you really got to just focus down, like, cool, all shots into this one, all shots into this one, all shots into the next one, or you'll just get overrun. But so I think they had the unfortunate part of they all fought players who went, cool, I know exactly how to counter Wookiees.
Any lists that kind of surprised you guys with how they did or how they didn't do? I know I've talked a lot for the last segment.
Not really. I do have a favorite list and just the name for it that I want to shout out. I don't remember the player, unfortunately, and also can't currently look it up. But it was Bosk, 3 Pike Capos with 1 or 2 Vigilances, 1 improvised, and then 6 units of Pikes with Disruptor and Pike Capo. And it was just called the Bosk Father. And I have no clue how well it did, but I just went, okay, I love this list. I need to buy 4 more boxes of Pikes.
Josh's list, Fluffy Saurus? Was that him?
I think it may have been. I think it was another Josh, and that also helped my love of the list.
That's what I drew against, so I'm not sure that I love the list, but it is a wonderful name.
It's good.
Speaking of draws, there's just like 3 things that we were going to kind of I wanted to briefly touch on for the event for just lessons that we've learned as a community and moving forward. But my God, that shit's got to go. I don't care what we do to establish a clear winner, but that leads to such a negative play experience. And if the best lists are all near 800 points or just a couple points around it, we just need to have a tiebreaker. I don't care if it's a dice roll. I don't care if we go back to blue player or red player. I don't care if it's higher activations, but like just having something on the table to force an engagement, I think would breathe a lot of life into the game. Because it's not like we're in a bad spot right now. It's really the only downside of the play that I had while I was there.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody, knew it's like, oh, well, we can just draw. We don't have to play. So like half of the people going into that last round on Friday were like, oh, let's just draw. And it was like, okay. And, they knew that, like, I think those players deep down knew that, like, I probably don't have a shot at top cut anyway, because, like, I'm just happy to be here. And it's like, it feels bad for the players who were like on the cusp, you know what I mean? And it's like, if they win out, they might get in. And now it's like, they don't get in because all these players drew.
A lot of our Florida man buddies fell right into that. There was 3 or 4 of them that finished 3-1 and did not get in because
they should have just won more games.
Also true.
They were on their
also true.
high horse alligators riding into, oh, we're gonna come here, we're gonna win worlds, and they didn't. So, oh well, too bad for them.
But just as an example, like there's 3 or 4 of them that were 3-1, and their SOS got tanked by the draws, and it's just not a great situation for the event, in my opinion.
Yeah, there needs to be a change.
Hopefully, like they're gonna get a lot of feedback from this, right? It's like, and they were there, so they saw, you know what I mean? Like they saw, they know what happened. Trust me, right?
Yeah. And if you do have feedback, please do send it to them at op@atomicmassgames.com. That's explicitly where you should be sending your feedback.
We'll link that in the show notes.
Discord.
Yeah.
Don't scream in Twitch chats.
Yeah, it won't do it. If you're yelling in Twitch chat, if you're yelling in the streams, it's not going to do anything. If you're yelling in Discord, yeah, it might be seen, but the best way to make sure that your feedback has been seen is to send them an email about it.
I also think if you're on Discord, Bear Chemist Luminous Gaming did say to send him feedback via DM, and he's going to compile it as well. So if for some reason you have an aversion to writing an email, you can send it to him too. But just send it to the email.
Just send it directly to OP.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll have the email in the show notes here so that if you do feedback, please send it in. Please be respectful, please be constructive, but please give your feedback. I love the fourth round. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sure it
I
was
do
tough.
too.
I'm sure it was tough on the staff. I know it was a long day. But the more games, the better. And you guys did a phenomenal job of keeping us on schedule for the 4 rounds. And if that's what it takes to field 272 players and to get to a 7 round Swiss for next year, if we need to do 4 rounds and then three, I'm all for it. That was awesome. It was great to see everybody competing, and I just wish my fourth game wasn't my local, but it's great to see 4 games in a day. Like that's what we need if we want a champion.
Yeah, well, and also a lot of people are flying out for this. So the more games they can play with people they might not play regularly, like it's unfortunate with your fourth game, but like one of the Brits, Jeff, we were talking after the final day. It's like, yeah, I was really enjoying playing people I've never played before. He played him at who from Bolivia, I want to say, and so he'll probably never see him again. He might play him at another Worlds, but this was a great chance. I mean, it's literally called Worlds. Come out here and just play games. So the more games, honestly, in my opinion, is the better.
Agreed.
I don't think most people go win into Worlds thinking they were going to win, or like, so it's like a lot of people just went in. It's like, I got invited to play in Worlds, and that's cool. Like, I'm going to get to go and play against a bunch of people that I've never played against. And like you said, I agree.
Yeah, I was stoked. I got to play an Argentinian delegate, a Swiss delegate, and then an American. Like, that's awesome. I will never get to play those dudes again. That was cool.
And like you said, the more games you play, the more prize tickets you got for the prize wall, which was dope.
It was.
Yeah,
Those dice are amazing.
Yeah. I feel like I mean I didn't get to redeem tickets. We did get a goodie bag, which was great. So like I did get to bring home some stuff, but like there was enough stuff there that like, and a lot of it was new, that like even if you just wanted dice, like you were happy. White defense dice, we didn't have that yet. Black attack dice, we didn't have that yet. And the new red dice look phenomenal. They're way better than like the other two reds for sure.
They're like a darker wine colored, and they
Yeah.
pop so well. They look so good.
Oh, they're so good.
Excellent.
I'd love to see red defense dice in that style, but also I'd just like to see more. I mean, me and Andre were talking about this. It's like, yeah, we could do defense dice in the same style as like the attack dice, or we could do something entirely new. There's so many shades of red we could do out there. There's so many shades of white. We can do white attack dice that aren't for the worst people, and I'm including myself and Nick in that.
Oh, I don't use regular dice anymore. Nope.
Oh yeah, no, white.
Sir. There's only
My
regular red defense dice in
stormtroopers.
my bag. That's right.
My stormtroopers throw 8 clear white dice. It's great, but like we could get something different. We could do like we could do speckled black on white dice.
Yeah.
There could be just like speckles of red. Just you could do a marbling again, which I love all the marble dice they've put out. But there's just so many options we could do for. I say we. I don't have any decisions. There's so many things. That
I don't know.
AMG
Maybe
could
you do. You're like the up and coming guy now.
This is your coming out party, man.
EOing Worlds, basically.
Josh is your new AMG
Showdown.
front. I'm kidding. This is a joke for legal reasons.
Yes, I don't work for AMG.
Yet.
Nick?
I mean,
I'm just trolling. I'm just being mean at this point. The only thing I think it was missing, right? And like somebody coming from, I played X-Wing, I played Armada, I currently play Shatterpoint, MCP, so like I was drooling over almost everything in that case. Why do you make that face, Mike?
I didn't say a word, dude.
Oh. Anyway, they like Armada and X-Wing, they've got like the movement, like the template trays and stuff. They need to figure out a premium prize like that for Legion for next year. That's the only thing
like
premium
promo movement tools or promo range
Yeah.
templates.
I think it's harder with the design of the Legion stuff, and I was saying it to Mike the other day. Like I think it's much harder with like the way that like the range rulers, like instead of it being like this one's range 5, range 4, range 3, range 2, it's like they all lock together. So I think it's probably difficult from a manufacturing perspective to make something like affordable for them that like works.
Yeah.
So, but it's like I hope they figure it out, because
I'd like to see tokens like they did them for some of the OP kits, but having like a Worlds token would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Just like one. Just like
Yeah.
one special stat.
I will echo everything that you said about the prize wall. The only thing that was kind of a bummer as a strictly Legion player who doesn't play Shatterpoint or X-Wing is that the promo cards that we got were the same that have been in the kit, minus the Geonosians. There's the hello there, but that's for a very select few group of people. So it was kind of a bummer that there was only 2 or 3 new cards versus other ones. I get it. It's cool, as it'll change as it goes forward. But that one felt a little less enthusiastic. I was glad that there were so many different kinds of dice because I had many things I wanted to spend my tickets on. But I'd like to see a couple other cards.
Yeah.
Small complaint, but
The Bad Batch
it's
card
year
is
one. It
gorgeous,
started great.
though.
Though I love the way they did the Bad Batch
Yeah,
card.
Bad
It was
Batch
like,
card's
cool. We're gonna hand out a Bad Batch card to
Round one.
everyone here. And
Round
guess
one.
what? It's pretty unusable right now.
It just asks more questions than it answers.
It does. It really
Which
does.
is fantastic. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't wait to rock that in person.
We got to
I
give
saw
it to
some
him round
people
one.
sold it for like $140.
Why would you do that?
Are
I mean, it's such a
crazy.
cool card.
I
I got
love
mine signed by Will Pagani.
Well, that's a good idea.
That's sweet.
So
You could
yeah.
probably get like 300.
Why would I sell it?
Yeah, I wouldn't sell it.
To afford your clone commandos.
What?
I'm kidding. We haven't gotten that far yet.
We're about to.
Yeah, you want to just hop into it?
Is this our segue? Are we going to
This is
start
our
with Clone
segue.
Commandos?
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
we're going commando.
I'd like to just right now and say I'd like to take range troopers.
Go for it.
ahead.
Let's start with range
Start
troopers.
with Range Troopers.
Okay. All right. So thanks for the ones you linked in stream in the notes in the notes.
Yeah, there should be like 4
Because
images
they're
if you keep scrolling.
not legible in the slightest. Let me pull it up from the stream.
If you go to Tabletop Admiral, they are
Oh, they're on
there.
tabletop? Oh,
They
good.
are, yes. Who, if you want to join their Patreon as well.
Yeah.
So as we're talking about range troopers, Josh, do you play Imperials? I actually don't know what you play.
I play every faction, but my faction is Imperials.
I could tell. I guess that.
Yeah, no, I'm that kind of person.
Yeah, he looks like an Imperial player.
What's that supposed to mean, Nicholas?
It means he looks smart.
I mean, I'm literally wearing a shirt from episode 6. I've got the character I play most directly as close to my heart as I can get.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm a double bounty player.
That a boy, a man of culture.
Things. You could be a double dark player.
Why not?
I was playing double darks with Boba.
4K no los dos.
All right, so we've got range troopers. They are 60 points for the base, 1 health each, red saves, 2 courage, no surging at all. And they've got advanced targeting trooper 1. So when a unit with the advanced targeting trooper 1 keyword declares an attack against an enemy trooper unit before measuring range, it may gain 1 aim token. A unit that uses the advanced targeting keyword may only form 1 attack pool and skips the declare additional defender step of the attack sequence. So pretty much most things you're going to be firing into, you're just going to get an aim, which is really cool keyword. I'm excited to see what else this gets put on. They also have Armor 1, Indomitable, Scale, and Spur, and they are Speed 1. And they're support units, so we're getting some trooper supports, which is interesting. The big thing is they all have a range 1 to 4 single black die as their main attack, and 2 white in melee. But so it's a decent amount of points, or not a massive amount of points for 4 units throwing 4 black dice at range 4. And then we have 2 weapons. We've got the DLT-20A range trooper, which is 25 points, which is range 1 to 5 black with impact 2. And then we also have the T-21A trooper, which is 20 points, range 1 to 4 black white suppressive. So neither of them give you a surge. There's no critical on their T-21, but you're still throwing a decent 6 to 8 dice at range 4 with keywords. So I'd say that's not half bad, especially when you're getting an aim pretty much every turn. And then For 15 points, you can just buy another range trooper, and then they have a comms and grenade slot.
I do want to point out the DLT is red.
Oh, is it red?
It is red. Yeah. If
It does not show up well on this.
Yeah, it shows
No,
up super poor.
it does. I only know because I was actually at the panel. It was blown up on the screen. Because
Oh,
it's
that's
a,
good.
it's a DLT.
There are
yeah.
better pictures out there online, so it's like some people got good pictures, but yeah, it's too red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so-
we were at the stream table. We were just kind of going, let's just push the game a little back. Let's watch all the Legion announcements. Let's watch the Legion announcements. We're just staring on our phones all around the computer. But yeah, no, I think the unit's pretty decent. I think it fits into a lot of lists as it is already. I think the impact gun is a little weird with the advanced targeting for troopers.
Gonna
Because
rip dark troopers apart though.
oh, it's gonna rip dark
They're
troopers
gonna rip
apart.
dark troopers apart.
But like your other options for getting that aim and using the impact are the IGs and B2s.
yeah,
it feels a little expensive at 25.
Yeah.
because it mostly just like it devalues the advanced targeting a little bit with those keywords most of the time.
I think if they priced it closer to like the 18 points the DLT on the stormtroopers are, it would be a little bit more legitimate. But it feels a hair too expensive with what we've got.
Yeah, I think the other weapon is probably the one you'll see more often. Because then you're throwing 8 dice at range 4 with suppressive, because you don't have sharpshooter or anything. But like, yeah, the white dice are probably not going to hit, but that's 2 more black dice and 2 more chances of something.
It's 2 more chances to throw a crit.
Yeah.
And you're doubling down with the aim at that point because you're not going to shoot your suppressive gun at a vehicle. So it's
No,
going to
you're
be 8
shooting at the
dice at
troopers.
range 4 with an aim before you get to anything else. And you could even take an aim and shoot and get 2 aims on the attacks.
Yeah.
Because you can lead these guys a little bit further forward with the red save armor one.
These guys have these enormous. The minis are gorgeous because
Oh,
they
yeah,
were in the
they're
display
beautiful.
case painted up. They're gorgeous. They have these gorgeous big puffy jackets. They can't take a gear. They can't take a gear. What the? It doesn't make any sense to me. Not.
And I think, especially with having Indomitable, you're probably never actually going to be moving them speed 1. You're going to spur every chance you get because you're pulling off most of your suppression with it. So I think it's a really interesting unit. I'm excited to start playing it, especially because we have all the parts for this one, which is cool. So we can start playing this now. Now, something we don't have all the parts for is Clone Commandos.
Nick, would you like to take this?
Of course I would. Clone Commandos. They're also a support, which is super neat. They are 75 points. They have this keyword called complete the mission. I believe you guys already talked about this on another cast because the rules are in the rule book already.
We waxed ad nauseum about how cool this keyword is.
Yeah. So get it, like, during setup, you place the mission token, deployments near outside of the deployment zone, you get search, block, and critical 2. Pretty good. Keywords. So now we have the unit card. Keywords: equip, Katarn pattern armor, infiltrate, recharge 1, target 1, shielded 1. In melee, they are 2 black dice apiece. Spicy. Their range weapon is 1 to 2 black white suppressive. They are speed 2. They have 1 health and they are 2 courage. And there are 4 minis in the unit. They cannot take a heavy or a personnel, which I guess is like we've only really seen Clone Commandos like 2 times ever in anything. And there aren't many of them, so I guess that makes sense. They have a training slot, a gear slot, a grenade slot, a comm slot, and one of those little armament slots. I wonder what that could be. So what we know about Clone Commandos here, they look cool. They look like they're going to be pretty tanky with the shield and the recharge, and the Katarn pattern armor is really what we're here for. So Katarn pattern armor. Let's see here. Let me pull the card up. Clone Commandos only. It is an expend, 0 points. When this unit would be assigned more than 1 wound from a non-melee attack, you may expend this card. Assign this unit 1 wound instead. So basically, it's like if you there's a roll, and you roll like 4 dice, and you take 3 wounds. You only take 1 now. That's pretty good. For no points. A nice way that they have like slightly upgraded armor from regular clones and stuff. So again, we don't have much here. They look cool. It's really going to depend on that the armament. It's going to make or break it. So,
I believe we can speculate on one of the things for the armament. I think during Mini Extravaganza they said there was a sniper mode, which I imagine is probably a range 4 shot.
I would imagine that's if you're looking at the preview picture from the internet, I'd imagine that's the right guy, like the far right of the diamond. It kind of looks like a sniper rifle.
Yeah. And we also know that we're getting Delta, whatever the Delta Squad, I think. Yeah, Delta Squad. And they seem, we don't know anything about them yet, but they seem like they'll be fun.
Yeah, they're the ones from the video game that all the kids play.
And the novels.
Yeah.
I didn't know I guess it makes sense.
Oh, yeah. The Republic Commando novels is actually like, this might be a hot take, arguably one of the best series in extended universe, whatever it's called.
I played
now.
the video
Legends.
game when it came out, but that was like 20 years ago.
I'm going to say something really controversial. It's going to get people to dislike me. The Republic Commando book series is way better than the original Thrawn series. The original Thrawn series is just overhyped. It's not actually like me.
This man's never coming back.
Oh,
he's never left.
I would listen to the conversation, but I don't know if you can make me agree. But it might be
people are gonna hate me for saying this.
Dude.
I don't think the original Thrawn series is all that good.
We're getting so many clicks right now. This is amazing.
I'm here to bring you the clickbait you need.
All right.
It's probably number 2 for me.
We got to see what that armament brings. Probably going to be like a flip card, like Pathfinders or Death Troopers. Right? Yeah. So
I'm going to drop a hot take on these guys. Regardless of what that armament is, this is the first unit that you can run, I think, at its base cost on the card and get value out of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if you take 3 of these dudes, 75 apiece, and obviously their armor upgrade, you have a valuable core of your army that you can actually get value out of. You can score objectives, and your opponents have to deal with them. And I think this is the first time that we've seen a unit come out that you could just run naked.
I think it'll depend on how many of these priority mission tokens you place. If you place 1 per unit, which is what I assume.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because you can coat the battlefield in these.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could run 3.
I think the best for this is going to be, like I was talking about it with Seth, and we're like, what if we could do, because it's a support unit, it's like you could really make use of then, like Cody taking a single ATRT. That ATRT just comes, relays its orders, so you can set up fire supports. And then you have 3 support in the bag. So you really, that extra chance to not have to activate those clone commandos until you really need to. So it brings up some interesting things. And I'm glad they're not just another special force. It's like, oh, do I take arcs or commandos? Now you could take both. I don't think that's probably going to be the best decision, but who knows?
And they have infiltrate. I'm so glad that this keyword is finally coming to other armies besides the GCW. This just opens so many cool avenues for clones. And like you said, putting them in the support, putting the range troopers in the support finally means that we're not just getting another option in a slot we already have. These are 2 slots that have been criminally under-supported by the devs since the game launched. And it's cool to see some new options brought forth. I'm super excited.
The units in the support slot have always been hit or miss, and they're usually super dependent on the meta or a battle force. So, like, facts. These guys they're clone commandos, right? This is like the second most like asked for unit that like in the game ever. Like
it's the most behind. It is the most homebrewed unit, I want to say.
It's behind Gar Ahsoka.
Yeah, it's like speaking of Gar Ahsoka, just kidding. Sorry, everybody.
I'm not.
Well, the Bad Batch. Mike, you want to take?
Oh, I believe it's my turn. All right, so the guy who's never seen Bad Batch is going to talk about Bad Batch. So Bad Batch is an operative unit that has equip Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair, who I am assuming are clones. I'm
You
kidding.
know who Echo
I'm
is.
kidding. I know
Stop
they're
it.
clones. I know the clones, but I have never seen the show. So they have Impervious, Scale, Steady, and Sharpshooter 1. They have We're Not Regs, which we talked about last time. So thankfully, this unit cannot be parts of fire supports. That's amazing. They are 160 points, and they come with 5 heavy weapon slots, which I would assume, as we know, are the 5 equipped. So I think this is super cool for 2 reasons. You get the full flavor in the operative slot, and you can make each one of these minis super unique and add really cool flavors without breaking open the entire faction by giving it fire support. Like you can make this unit busted as fuck, but it's still a 160 point unit that doesn't trigger other fire supports. And I think that's really cool and a really smart design choice.
There's also no clone token sharing with them.
Right. So they have to be good on their own, and it's going to be up to the player to maximize that. They're a speed 2, red save. I'm assuming 2 health, a mini, 3 courage. They're 1, if it's an advanced combat training, I believe that's a 1 red per melee. And then they're range 1 to 2, black and white, DC 17 hand blaster. We don't have the full spoilers for these guys yet, but we do have Hunter, who has a free action to choose a non-operative or commander enemy trooper unit at range 1 and in line of sight. You roll a black die, and on a hit or crit, that unit suffers a wound. So it basically has a roll a die for force choke, which is super cool.
And it doesn't exhaust.
And it's free. Mm-hmm. And you have Crosshair, who looks like range 1 to 5, 1 red die. When your attack pool contains only this weapon, it gains critical 1, and it has high velocity, pierce 1, and precise 1, which will add to the pool regardless, which I think is great. So Bad Batch is going to have pierce, which they better at 160 points.
Yeah.
Seems good.
And finally,
go ahead. I said one thing real fast. It's really interesting that because it's both high velocity and precise 1. So it's like Crosshair by himself has high velocity crit 1 with pierce 1. Crosshair with the others, I mean, you lose the high velocity. And so now, but the precise 1 matters. So he's got some keywords that matter for one way, and the other keywords matter for going with the full group. I think it's actually a really interesting design space that we haven't seen explored all that much yet.
Yeah, and Hunter is the leader as well, so that like quasi force choke ability is going to last until the very end. So even when they're losing minis, they're still going to be effective.
Yep.
And then arguably the most busted part of this, in my opinion, is Omega. So she is a counterpart for the Bad Batch. And she says, I'm
rebel counterpart specifically.
Rebel counterpart.
She's a rebel mercenary counterpart.
Yeah.
She's the illicit, the bounty hunter mercenary type.
Yeah, they did confirm that there is an operative mercenary for rebels, and Omega can only go in there.
Omega.
Omega, I'm a part of the squad too.
So
hi, I'm Omega.
Is she the same? Is she the same species as Ahsoka? I don't know, dude.
All right. So
no, she's a clone.
The image is very blurry.
Omega is a clone.
Boba and Omega were like the direct, like unaltered clones of Jango, and for some reason,
why is she so small?
Because she's a kid.
She's a child.
Not aged up. Like Boba was a kid in Clone Wars. This is like right after Clone Wars.
Okay. That's fair. That makes sense.
She points out a couple times in the show that she's actually older than like the Bad Batch guys. She is actually technically older than them because she was like the second or first clone.
She's a partially altered clone.
Okay.
Watch the show.
I have questions later.
I'm like 2 episodes behind. So
I've watched like 5 episodes across 2 seasons, so I have no clue either.
So she has arguably one of the coolest new keywords. I'm part of the squad too. Omega does not have to be assigned wounds or be defeated first due to the counterpart keyword. While Omega is on the battlefield, the Bad Batch may use the claim and sabotage repair actions when she is in base contact with an objective token as if she was the unit leader. Any claimed objective tokens are still placed in base contact with the Bad Batch's leader unit. This is sick. She can score objectives while the rest of the squad puts themselves in the best position to shoot and get cover.
Yep.
This is awesome. Crucially, she can also do melee shenanigans because you no longer, as of the last rules, have to put yourself in the most precise way possible. So you can run straight towards the opponent's VAP get yourself in melee to be safe with your 160 point, 170-ish point unit, and have a VAP. This is awesome.
Yeah, these guys
She's
come
also
out in
only
July.
1 health.
Yeah. But the
And
other guys are all 2 health. So you could just, they can all die first and you can leave her for the end before.
And she's melee to 2 white.
And because of the counterpart rules, actually, like you can, like you don't have to kill her till Hunter's even taken 1 wound in this case.
Correct.
He's 2 health.
Yeah.
So you could put a wound on Hunter and then still have Omega on the battlefield. And I mean, she contributes dice to an attack pool range too. That's not terrible.
It's a shame Hunter can't take Hunter. They have no slot.
I know. I actually did not look at the screen again to make sure. I like that it's like a unit that is like, it's obviously designed a very specific way. Like you have to take all of these upgrades. You can't bring any other upgrades. So it's like, it's very simple to understand. But it was hilarious when we gave out these cards round 1 on Friday. And like, people are like, they're like, what? Where are the rest of the cards?
Have fun. This card is a great spoiler that you cannot use. I mean, we have 2 of the cards now. You could pay 160 points to get Hunter and Crosshair.
Yeah, you get
4 health.
Like,
yeah.
Just yeah.
We want to talk about what else they showed off model-wise?
Yeah,
for sure.
Go for it, sir.
So we've got the Rebel Sleeper Cell unit, which we saw at last minute extravaganza some early concept arts for it, but now we know it's Q4 this year, and we see like in it we've got like what looks to be a sniper and an astromech droid specifically for it, plus a bunch of alien sculpts. So they'll be interesting. Don't think if they announced anything else about it. So
don't think so.
Yeah. We have the Imperial Riot Control Squad, which has 4 stormtroopers with shields and electro staves, 2K2 security, 2KX security droids, pardon me, and then one sniper looking stormtrooper. So that'll be interesting to see what it is, but I'm personally intrigued. It was fun to talk with Pagani about things, and so he's like, you should maybe take a look at the sidebars, and the sidebars were a spoiler. It was really funny.
It was well placed. Nobody caught it.
Because I looked at it the first time, like, I'm pretty sure we've seen that Rebel unit. I have a feeling this Stormtrooper unit is something. Pagani, is this something? Is this something? He's like, maybe. And then, I mean, we figured out on Sunday, which
he
was
goes
pretty
up
cool.
to me and he's like, wouldn't Riot Shield Stormtroopers be really cool in Legion?
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah. We've got painted models for the crab droids, which is pretty interesting. I mean, we saw them at Extravaganza. That's also Q4 this year. They're definitely based off of the animated series. The Stormtroopers are also Q4, but so they look pretty cool. We have a terrain pack coming in Q1 of next year, the Outer Rim Battles terrain pack, which looks interesting. I wonder if there's more parts to it than what they've shown off, but
it sounded like it based
they
on.
Said they said there was. They said that's not the whole thing. It was just a setup image.
Cool. Well, I'm glad. It's good to have some official terrain. I love all the 3D printed stuff, but it's good that we can just, some of the game stores can go, cool. Well, if we need a terrain set, we'll buy a bunch of the official terrain, paint it up, combine it with the shadow point stuff.
This is like the first terrain set that like AMG's done like themselves, I believe, because like the X-Wing came out like in that like weird nebulous, like it was probably partially FFG, you know, at the very least, like the concepts, you know, and it's neat that this is like actually looks like usable, like really good usable terrain, like the walls and stuff. It's like it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not just a piece, but it seems to be a set. So like this will be cool. I think it'll be really good for escalation leagues and drawing new players, because it's probably enough to do a 3x3 table with like a couple pieces of 40k terrain.
Sure.
Well, if you're a new player and you bought a core set, you got 8 barricades, buy a terrain set, and if that's enough, hopefully that's enough terrain for your first set of games.
I think it would be.
Yeah,
I'm excited. We also have the Aqua Droids coming, which
we don't
apparently
know
are massive.
They are on, they're on like
They're on notch bases.
Yeah. They're
We see them a
huge.
little bit in the Clone Wars animated episodes where the droids invade one of like the Mon Cal's homes.
Mon Cala.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to be a Legion unit, but I'm not upset about it in the slightest.
I mean, I hope it comes. I hope that like Gungans come out soon too, since we're getting like underwater droids. We need the underwater race. We need the Gungans.
I
Just
hope
to
they're
know
a
it's
core
really
unit
true. I
for the Aqua Droids. I really hope the Aqua Droids are core.
Based
Just
on the
because then,
size of the base, I think they're going to be supporter heavies.
no, I
But I'm
hope they're
prepared.
core.
But
I
I'm
hope they're
prepared to
core
be
so that
wrong.
like I will buy 6 of them and I will fit all of these bases in my deployment zone.
yeah, I think they're going to do something pretty cool.
Wild.
It doesn't look right now like one of them is specifically a heavy, but I know
The
who knows what we'll
B2s were
see in the
like that though
future.
too, right? Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's a heavy maybe it's a heavy unit.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Also, quarter one, we've got ARF troopers coming.
Yeah.
They all have long range DC,
One of
except
them
one has an RPS.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It doesn't look like all of them look like they have the same gun except the RPS.
All of them
right?
have
Like,
DCs.
I studied it pretty closely on the airplane for 2 hours. I looked at this image.
What, did you not buy the Wi-Fi?
No, I didn't buy the Wi-Fi for an hour 45-minute flight.
Oh, I bought my Wi-Fi.
Well, your flight was much longer than mine, I bet.
Yeah, 4 hours, 40
Right?
minutes.
Yeah. When I went to LVO a few years ago, I bought the Wi-Fi, but not for like.
You also have the ARF Trooper Jedi attachment, which is super cool. If you weren't at the panel, Will Schick talked about one of the things that they're going to be focusing on in the coming year is faction identity. And I'm assuming Jedi and lightsabers are going to be a faction identity for Gar, because he did say that the Jedi attachment for the ARF troopers will also be usable in the ARC troopers. So we're going to get a Special Forces Jedi that has tactical. I'm stoked via ARC troopers. But I think it'll be really neat to have. I'm assuming that it's just going to have like a range 1 to 2 option and then a melee with the saber as well. But it'll be neat to see some more generic Jedi on the table. I'm really stoked about
They
that.
recently
have a
opened up.
built-in saber throw.
I would assume so, right? Like if you're going to put it with a ranged trooper unit, you've got to at least give it a built-in saber throw.
They recently opened up the design space with Inquisitors a little bit for cheaper Force users. Because we were always, that was the thing we didn't have, right? Cheapest Force users 155 points or 150 points, you know. Now we're getting Force users at like 100. So like I hope there's like a generic Jedi commander or operative that's like around 80, 90, 100 points. Like we've already seen it in Empire, like why not here? Makes the most sense. It also like it opens up like an avenue for creativity and like modeling opportunities and like custom sculpts. Like people are gonna like proxy this like operative Jedi that's probably a generic with like all kinds of things, and that's gonna be awesome.
Like maybe you've got a cool Mara Jade painted by a buddy that you can throw in your ARC troopers,
or like
or Maven from the French Star Wars Clone Wars fan game.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do with it, which is really cool.
Nick segued into sculpts really nicely. We didn't get to see any of these, but in Q2, we're going to get some Rebel Trooper, Stormtrooper, Scout Trooper, and Rebel Commandos hard plastic resculpts, which are fantastic. Some of those models are a little dated, so I'm excited to get some new ones, especially if they're going to be at the quality of the Q3 releases of Obi-Wan and Grievous. My word, that Obi-Wan is sick.
Yeah, that just the running pose. It honestly, looking at both the Obi-Wan and Grievous models, they look like they're about to swing each other. I wonder if they're going to do some sort of like dual pack like they've done for MCP and Shatterpoint, because it really looks like they're both aiming to go against each other. So I wonder what that's going to be like.
I hope so, because that's just going to print money for them. That's going to be so sick.
I watched the panel today or last night, and Schick kind of mentioned 2025 is going to be a big year, he said, for Legion. So this smells like second edition.
It does. And
like
I'm
with
gonna
them re-sculpting like all of these older units from like the first couple months the game was out, And then later on in quarter 3, Obi-Wan and Grievous were the core set commanders. So it smells like it could be that, but maybe I'm just like, I don't know.
And I'm gonna eat some crow real quick.
Okay.
Sorry. I gave AMG a lot of public shit over a total lack of release schedule and any kind of communications over the past 7 to 8 months. During the panel, Schick mentioned that their design process is like a 2-year reset window, which lines up perfectly with Adepticon 2025. I thoroughly appreciate the fact that we now have information on that and that we're starting to see some of the fruits of those labors. It would have been nice to know that a little bit earlier ahead of time, but I applaud the fact that we're still a year out from that. And now we have dates and now we have concepts and we just have communication about it. So if that's how things are going to go into the future, I mean, the future looks way more bright than it did 2 months ago when we really had radio silence on these things.
We've got like 6 things coming up this year to look forward to.
Plus, we got another mini extravaganza this year. We might get a stealth drop of more battle forces there as well.
We're getting more stuff because there's no way we're only getting resculpts in Q2. We're gonna get some.
No, there's definitely something else coming. I'm excited to see some of the things. I'd love to see especially some of the factions slightly get more cohesive with their identity, maybe change up Republic a bit. Just it'd be interesting. I'm excited to see where the game's going. I've been everything that has been talked about and not publicly talked about. It seems really cool. I'm really interested. We all love this game. So it's good to know that we're still getting things and that we're going to be eating good pretty soon.
I'm excited for all of that. It's all give me.
Any final thoughts on the spoilers before we move to our outro?
No. It looks really cool. I do hope ARF troopers are a core option.
Same. We need it. Please don't be another special forces.
Yeah. But it just a range 4 core might be scary, but it probably doesn't search to hit. Right, if it doesn't have fire support, then I think it's less scary. Because if it's a fire support unit, like fire supporting 4 DCs, which are probably going to be a black die, maybe range 4.
Maybe even a white die. Might even be a white die.
They won't be white
dice. But adding 4 to 5 black dice to a Cody shot at range 4 sounds a little disgusting. So I hope they have something a little different. Like maybe they got target 1. Maybe they're also advanced targeting. Maybe they've got that for troopers as well. Something like that. It could be very interesting the way they're going to do these.
My gut tells me they're going to be special forces, if only because the Jedi is shareable in ARC troopers as well. So,
but the ARC trooper guys, like Echo and 5 can go in core, and we got Boyle and Waxer have ARF helmets options in the box. The core attachments, they have phase 1, phase 2 ARF helmets. I have a feeling they're going to be core troopers.
I did not realize that. That does change things.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't build your models.
Yours have ARF trooper helmets.
Do they?
Yeah. They look cooler.
I didn't know what it was.
I painted a million phase 1s. Paint some ARF troopers. Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. One more thing. That Jedi, it's two sculpts you see there, right? One of them has 2 lightsabers. One of them has a staff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm like, yes. Gimme. gimme. So excited. But so outro, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm also excited to say this is our final episode of season 2.
Forever. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. I hope Jay actually does his edit this time to do the sounds, because that will be needed.
Jay,
I apologize for the last couple of episodes. It turns out our sound editor didn't do his job, and he doesn't pay me, so it's okay. I can say this. He's not my real boss. But anyway, so we're going to be launching season 3 with the launch of next episode, and we appreciate you guys who have stuck with us for the past kind of like 4 or 5 months of weirdness, honestly. I know I was gone for a while. I know Nick was gone for a while, and we're excited to kind of be back with a regular schedule. Rich and Pat are still going to rotate with us, so I'm excited to get back to a little bit more of our like 3-man casting style.
And I'll be fighting off the
More
clone players over here by myself. Fighting them.
Hey, if you
I'm playing
invite me
droids
on,
this
you've
weekend,
got
man.
an invite me more often. You got an Empire Double Bounty player who plays too many pikes.
We will talk. We will talk. Speaking after my heart. So I played for Worlds last year was Pike's Double Bounty. But anyway, so we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna do more actual tactic segments. We're gonna do more hobby segments again. We're gonna get more community TOs on again. You know, we're starting that here. We've got the Richmond TOs coming on next episode. A lot of the things that we got really good feedback on towards the start of our career, shall I say. We're gonna shift back towards that. So for those who have stuck with us, we really appreciate it. It was really awesome to meet so many of you at Worlds who I had never actually had the pleasure of speaking with in person. Like literally from all over the world. Like it was like fucking awesome. Like thank you very much.
Yeah,
It makes all of this worth it.
Speaking
And,
of the amount of love I got, and like, when are you coming back? This and that. It really, like, from the bottom of my heart, guys. I love everybody. I love you all. We do it for you. Like everything, all the work we put into Worlds, including we'll talk about that. We talked about that. Like, you know, we're so happy to do it for you guys. So, thanks for all the love and support from everybody.
yeah. So we'll be back with season 3 in 2 weeks. And for everybody who's listened this far, we appreciate it very much. And Josh, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for running Worlds. You did a hell of a job stepping in with only a month left to get everything kind of restarted and re-rolling. And you did a great fucking job. So thank you very much. Nick, thank you for judging.
Yeah, of course.
And unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to see you guys at Worlds next year. I have a lot of personal travel coming up, and I'm really not going to get to travel to a lot of the bigger events this year. So I've got to win a store champ. That's about it.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna actively try to get there, but I know my limits or my chances are a little more limited this year. I'd rather travel the world, but yeah, say la vie. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Bye bye.
Cool. All right.